Who is Seshat in Egyptian mythology? In Egyptian mythology, Seshat is the goddess of writing, also known as the Egyptian goddess of wisdom and knowledge. Over the centuries, Seshat also became known as the goddess of surveying, the census, accounting, architecture, mathematics, astronomy, building, and astrology. The goddess Seshat's name literally means female scribe. Also known as Sefket Abwi, seven-horned female scribe, Seshat was honored with several official titles such as Mistress of the House of Books, and her high priests were given the title of Overseer of the Royal Scribes. Seshat was also given the title of Keeper of the House of Life, which included the temple library at Heliopolis, the scriptorium, and writer's workspace, Mistress of Builders, Celestial Librarian, and Friend of the Dead. The hieroglyph that represents Seshat is known as the mysterious Seshat emblem. The emblem appears to be a long stem with a 7-petal flower atop it, capped with a pair of horns. In artwork, Seshat is often dressed in the hides of cheetah or leopards draped over a robe. If Seshat is not shown with a hide, she is usually wearing a patterned dress with the patterns of a spotted cat. The pattern on the hide is thought to represent the stars of the sky, symbolizing eternity, as Seshat is often linked to the nighttime sky. In religious artwork, Seshat was often depicted with a 7-pointed emblem arched by a crescent in the form of a bow above her head whose exact meaning has been lost to time. It is from this emblem the name Sefket Abwi, seven-horned female scribe, derives. Some Egyptologists believe the headdress iconography symbolized Seshat's authority. It was common in the myths of Egypt for a victor to wear the hide of a defeated enemy to take on an enemy's power. The stars were symbolic of the realm of the gods, and the number 7, as in multiple Mediterranean religions, stood for perfection. Seshat wearing the skin of a cheetah or leopard may have represented Seshat's authority over danger, as leopards and cheetahs were common apex predators in Egypt. The crescent of her headdress has been linked to representing precision and nimbleness, and is representative of divinity. Usually, Seshat is depicted with a notched palm stem. The notch is used to mark the passage of time to keep track of the allotment of time for the pharaoh, as Seshat was responsible for keeping track of the time the pharaoh was allowed to spend upon the earth. Seshat is also depicted holding knotted cords that stretch to survey land and buildings. Thoth and Seshat. Beginning in the Second Dynasty, 2890 to 2670 BC, Seshat was often depicted with Thoth, often as his wife, but sometimes as Thoth's child. To complicate matters more, in some myths of the Middle Kingdom period, Seshat was considered Thoth's sister. As Thoth was the god of wisdom, various types of writing, and different types of sacred knowledge, it was sensible in the Egyptian mind to pair the two deities together, and this association would remain with the gods throughout Egypt's dynastic history. Seshat, stretcher of the cord. One of the most important roles of the goddess Seshat was as the mistress of builders, or simply, the goddess of surveying. As the most important buildings of Egypt were temples with religious function, Seshat had a very prominent role within Egyptian architectural design. An important ritual of the pharaoh was called the stretching of the cord, and Seshat was the primary deity invoked during it. This stretching of the cord ritual was used to lay out the design and foundations of temples and other structures so that they maintained religious and sacred alignments. Seshat was necessary because it was she who had the needed skills to survey the land and boundaries. The high priest and priestess of Seshat also directed a team of others who had been trained in the necessary arts of mathematics and surveying to set the foundations of buildings throughout the empire. Because Seshat embodied the understanding of sacred space and temple geometry, in later mythology, Seshat was said to be the daughter of Mot, who personified the correctness and order of the cosmos. The many roles of Seshat in Egyptian society. While most modern observers know little of Seshat today, in ancient Egypt, the goddess of wisdom was venerated and highly esteemed throughout the kingdom. Unlike other gods, Seshat did not have any temples dedicated to her name, nor did she have a formal cult center of worship. Instead, her priests and followers were spread throughout the kingdom, working in conjunction with the priests of Ptah and Thoth. The Egyptian people placed a high value on writing and record keeping. Therefore, Seshat was involved in the daily rituals of every single dynastic period. While not as recognizable today as Ra, Isis, or Osiris, in ancient Egypt, Seshat was one of the most commonly invoked gods of the Egyptian pantheon. The story of Seshat. In a number of Old Kingdom myths, the god Thoth was self-created before time began, and in his ibis form, he laid an egg that creation hatched from. As part of his gift to humanity, Thoth offered his vast knowledge and the gift of writing. At that time, Egyptian writing consisted of simple pictographs, but had not yet morphed into the hieroglyphs we know today. Thoth's consort was Seshat. It was believed that after writing was given to mankind, it was Seshat that began to teach humans the advanced form of the hieroglyphs. By the early dynastic period, complete oversight of writing was given to Seshat and in turn to her priests. As Thoth was the god of wisdom, Seshat began to be viewed with these attributes as well. As she was the great scribe who kept a record of all things, a great deal of power lay at Seshat's disposal. Keeper of the House of Life. One of Seshat's most common titles was that of Keeper of the House of Life. Houses of life were found in every major temple complex throughout Egypt during the Middle Kingdom period. The House of Life was more than just a massive library, as it was a scriptorium, a writer's workshop and training center, a publisher and distributor of documents, and one of the earliest examples of an institute of higher learning. Called Per Ankh, which translates as House of Life, these learning centers were always dedicated to Seshat and Thoth. No matter the deity or purpose of the temple, if the temple had a house of life within it, Seshat and Thoth were literally thought to reside within that temple. Therefore, Seshat was considered a permanent house guest in every major temple of Egypt. As the keeper of the House of Life, Seshat's role would have been to receive a copy of the text through her priests, and then transfer it to the celestial library where it would be kept eternally.